Okay, so we're looking at the banded overhead stretch for the lats. Yes, I mean it's a stretch for the lats, but there's a lot of other things that you're going to tie into that that'll be stretched at the same time. If you ever looked at Tom Myers stuff or anatomy training, things like that, you've got a lateral line of fascia that goes down here, which encompasses the lats alongside that. So I think it's a really great stretch for improving stuff like overhead motion for whatever, kick pull-ups over a squat, you name it. But I noticed there's a lot of mistakes of the way people perform it. So let's go through it step by step. So the first biggest mistake, if you just come in close for a second, the first biggest mistake is a lot of the time people's hands or palms remain flat down like this. And the problem is that that position, even with my palms down, my shoulder is basically in an internally rotated position. A lot of these big common culprit muscles that limit overhead motion, one of their biggest actions when they're shortening is internal rotation. So it basically means that if you're internally rotated, those muscles to a certain extent are staying a little bit on slack, or in other words, you're not getting the max amount of stretch that you can on them. So the fix for that is that when you're setting this up, you put your hand through, so it's just resting on your wrist crease. Once you're there, you're going to wrap the hand around until you've got a V, almost like a V shape in your palm. And then, and this is whilst the band's off tension before you've walked it out, you're going to make sure that you kind of screw your palm upwards towards the ceiling. The second thing you can do to help lock that in is use the other hand right on top, and I'm thinking about screwing this outwards. As you start to reach the extent of your flexibility, the body's going to want to find the path of least resistance and wiggle its way out of this. So you're going to be feeling the hand wanting to turn down, and that's where you use this hand to reinforce and make sure that doesn't happen. Once you've got that, then you're going to start walking back until you've got some tension and some pull in that band. It's then the same side leg as the arm that you're stretching that steps back. So if I'm stretching my right arm, my right leg is going to step back as if you're doing a really big reverse lunge. Does that make sense? So keeping that palm screwed up facing towards the ceiling. The second thing I'm going to do, if I'm stretching down this lateral line here, is I'm only going to get a certain amount of stretch of it if I'm taking my legs straight back behind me. But I almost want to kind of banana shape my body really to get that extra additional stretch. So if you come right behind me, so if you imagine a straight line coming past here, I want to step my leg on this side of the line, so that looks like this. Now I've banana shaped my body there, and if you come around this side, and then the last thing I'm doing is turning to look away from this arm. So I'm just dropping my body weight down, turning to look away, keeping that palm screwed upwards towards the ceiling. And then the last thing is when I'm in position, we're going to do a bit of a contract relax stretch. So I'm contracting the lats by bending my elbow slightly, or basically pulling the band towards me, holding it there, 8 to 10 seconds, relax, deep breath in, and then breath out. And as I breathe out, I'm letting that band pull me away a little bit. Okay, and that's the stretch.